The following program is made possible with the support of
Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the postseason edition of Sports Roundtable. I'm Marty Fuhrer. Highlights for you tonight is we have 3 first-round games to review, and a little bit later on we'll take a look at a home game that will be in our area in round number 2 of postseason play. And let's swing over to Laney and Coach. We talked about at the beginning of the year you were hoping to build things, get to that postseason, got to the first round. I know it wasn't exactly the result you wanted.
Yes, sir.
But you've got to be pleased with the body of work.
Oh, absolutely. Our foundation is strong. Now it's a matter of taking that foundation and building from it. We got a lot of kids coming back. You know, the seniors and the job that they've done up to this point has been, essential in the growth of our program. And I'm just grateful for the things that they've done for us and showing those kids Laney football and the way we want it at Laney High School. But there's still a lot of work to be done, and we look forward to it. And that's why we coach, to see, and build young men into great people. So
we talked about it was going to be a tough road trip to Garner. I know you were pleased. You put one really solid quarter together.
We sure did. We came out on defense and we stopped them, and that was the big thing. Is again, we want to start fast and we want to finish fast, and we did do that for the first quarter. And then we gave the ball back to our offense, and they drove the field. We ended up settling for a field goal, but it ended up getting blocked, and then they ended up driving down for one score. And then we got the ball back again. We had a nice little drive there. And then in the second quarter, from then on to the third quarter, things didn't go quite as planned. Well, actually, that second quarter. And, that's on me. I've got to get those kids prepared for those types of games and teaching them how to start fast and finish at the same time. So.
Okay. Take a look at some highlights, and if we can, this is first-round playoff action. And talk a little bit about preparing a team. Do you prepare them differently, knowing it's one and done?
Right. Well, no, we try to stick to what we do. One of the great things about being in the playoffs is that you get that extra week of preparation. It's kind of like dealing with college football, and there's a fumble right there. Actually, yeah, but he actually get it back, and they got second down. I could have sworn we came up with that ball. One of our kids handed the ball to the ref, and they didn't give it to us, but we did step up and finish that drive off. But like we were saying about the postseason stuff, the great thing is you get an opportunity to bring up some of those younger guys and prep them for the next level. So we had a lot of JV 10th grade kids come up that we knew would probably be helping us out next season. And that's one thing that we want to keep doing in the postseason is bringing up all our 10th graders and working with those young guys and seeing what kind of talent we have and developing those guys in the postseason. So it's kind of like college football. You get that extra time to prepare for your bowl game. But only thing is it's 1 week at a time. But yeah, offensively, they had that running back, number 2, one of the best in the state. He did a great job, and they tried to swing it out to the back, and we just did a great job of closing in. Defensively, I was very impressed with the way we played and the way we played with technique. And, tackling was also essential to our success, and they did a great job of that. We gave up 14 points defensively, and then special teams-wise and offensively, we had too many mistakes there. We wanted to keep the offense off the field, but we didn't want them to be scoring on other things like special teams. There's more phases to the game besides offense and defense, and we made some mistakes there, and that's on me again. I've got to make sure that they know their job and do it well. And this is our first drive offensively, so we get basically a 3 and out, and we get back on the football field, and our offense is just churning, man. I mean, Amik did a great job. Lane did a great job of reading his keys, and the O-line did an awesome job of, double teaming. They wiped that one of the big defensive tackles off the face of the earth, it looked like on one play. But we got to do a better job of, instead of, staying on that double team, of releasing and getting to the next level and getting that linebacker. And we didn't do a great job of that in the second quarter and in the second half. But I'm real impressed with the effort that we had all game long. And, the turnout wasn't the way we wanted it to, but I tell you what, the fight that we had for 4 quarters was awesome. But yeah, Amik and Lane were big in that first series there of keeping that drive going, and we drove the field, and it gave us some confidence, I'm sure, going in saying, you know, this is an undefeated, well, they had lost one game against Middle Creek, but, you know, just to see us turn the edge, and they, watching them on film, they were very fast defensively, and we saw that Friday night. The play clock was also very fast. They were blowing that whistle in quite quickly, and our guys weren't quite prepared for that offensively, and so that kind of put us in some situations there where we were trying to scramble and hurry. And again, we just got to get that preparation where we need it, and we'll be fine in the coming season. But yeah, offensively we did a great job initially in that first drive, and then defensively we didn't get on the field very much, but when we did a great job of executing the game plan. And you see, you know, it's taken a while for that play clock to come in, but in all actuality, when they put that ball down, I mean, that play clock was going, and we had to get to the ball and go. As you can see, they don't waste much time of getting to the football and going because of that play clock was just so fast Friday night. This is us getting down the field, getting to the quarterback here. This is a big hit by my free safety, Troy Cruz. You know, that guy was wide open, and he comes up and busts the guy in the mouth and separates the football from him. But they had some pretty good size up front as well. Again, something that you really don't commonly see. But when you get out there on the football field, you're like, whoa, wow, these guys got some pretty good size to themselves. And then there's a big play by Shafani Charbel, you know, and he was running the ball pretty tough. And, you know, sometimes you get your eyes in the backfield, but he did a great job of recovering and getting down the field and breaking up that play because that guy was wide open. One thing that we knew going in that we had to stop the run and force them to pass the ball. That's Jermias Beckett there with the long run, our lone score there. He has great speed. Again, he's a talented football player. Now we got to take that talent and turn it into skill. This is kind of like what we talked about with Amik. We got a lot of talented players. Now we got to become better skilled players after that, knowing the game of football. And this is Kenwan Watkins here. That's something that we had worked on all week. Instead of trying to wrap up, drive our feet sometimes, you know, being a littler guy, we worked on the cut tackle, and we tried to take the head out of the tackle, you know, shoot the arms. And there's Kenwan Watkins again coming up with the fumble recovery there. I sent a corner blitz off the edge, brought that defensive end in the gap that they were trying to get into, and we come up with the fumble. They were driving down for a score, and you know, that's one thing that I've been trying to preach to the kids all week long is, you know, finish, and all year long, you know, no matter what happens, keep fighting because, you know, great things can happen if you keep fighting. And as you can see with that fumble recovery, with them driving down the field, you know, that was a special thing there to show, you know, with your efforts pay off. And then that was Tyreek Lane connecting with Ryan Williams, one of our receivers there. We were backed up into the end zone, and it was just a great job with the play action fake and then getting that ball up there. It hung up there longer than we wanted to, but it just sailed right into his hands. I mean, he did a good job finishing with that.
First year as a head coach.
Yes, sir.
So your first team always has some special memories. What do you remember about this group?
Just a bond that I ended up growing with the kids. You know, it's special. Just seeing those guys grow from the beginning to the end, and that's one of the reasons why I got into coaching, because I felt like there was no other, you know, occupation like this where you get to mold young men into great people, and just that bond that you build with those kids and that teamwork and that effort. It's just, I'm biased towards the sport, but to me, there's nothing like, you know, athletics and the things that it does for the kids. And
it's not a one-man show. You've got a great staff.
Oh, yes. One of the things that we're looking to do is, you know, bring everybody back, keep that continuity. Coach Hart, Bill Hart, he did a great job with the offense. You know, he's one of those tireless workers. I mean, he's one of the seasoned vets, and he did a great job with our offense. Offensive line wise, Coach Russ did a great job of changing the mentality up front, and we became more of a run-based team, a power run team, and that's one of the things that we hadn't had in a long time at Laney High School, and that's one of the things that we want to keep going. Defensively, you know, my whole staff there, those guys did a great job of helping me out and making sure that everything was going the right way. And
in the 30 seconds that we have left, your emphasis in the off season will be?
Oh man, just the weight room, you know, mental toughness, physical toughness, just changing those bodies a little bit, bringing that camaraderie. It's nothing like putting in that hard work, because in the off season, when you working your tail off, it's hard to quit when you've invested so much. And that's one of the things that we're going to do. We're going to invest quite a bit in the off season, and like I said, it's going to translate on Friday nights when the season comes back up.
Congratulations on a great year.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being
Appreciate
with us
it.
each week.
Yes, sir.
When we come back, we'll take a look at what's going on at Hoggard. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Well, Hoggard hosted a first-round game, and Scott, you put together another solid effort, and the season continues.
Yeah, really proud of our football team. One of the things we talked about, really particularly late in the week, is just the need to play with a sense of urgency. And that playoff football, you can be one and done.
Yeah.
And you cannot afford to start slow. You cannot really afford to have that off night, or you're taking up the equipment about 2 hours later. So we really talked to the guys about just playing with a sense of urgency, starting fast and finishing strong. It's a real coachable group, and so it doesn't surprise me a bit that they took to what we were saying, and I thought they played like it.
Okay. Take a look at some highlights then if we can. It's a cold Friday night, and once again you talked about just executing and getting things underway early.
Yeah, I think offensively we've become a very disciplined team offensively. Very pleased. The offensive line's doing a great job. That's a big first down. Keevan Thompson, I wouldn't trade him for anybody in the state. I know there may be guys bigger, faster, whatever. I'll take him anywhere. But again, just doing a great job offensive line-wise. Here's Austin Sean Lieber hitting Hunter Louthan on a little tight end drag, takes it down inside the 20, puts us in scoring position. We actually scored but had an alignment issue, and so we have to come back and try and score again. In fact, this I think is going to be a successful play, but one of the wideouts is not on the line of scrimmage, so it ends up getting called back or pulled back, and we have to come back and score later. I believe this is the example of the touchdown that actually counts here. But the previous carry, Keevan Thompson behind Cooper Booth and Hunter Louthan and Sly Smith. And there's Austin throwing to Harrison Smith right inside the pylon there for the early 7-0 lead. Caleb Kuhn added the extra point. Bryant Sasser does our long snapping. Hinton Carter does the holding on field goals. They've done a great job. Defensively here, our coaches do a great job. You see the D front there. Hashim Michelle there and on that tackle. Omar Jones, I thought, played one of his better games. Very proud of Omar and his development. Again, great job up front. Guys just getting after it. I really was impressed with our D front. Just their inability to run the ball between the tackles, I thought was critical and really set us up to be more of a perimeter defense and passing game defense. But again, credit to the offense or the defensive line, the guys in there: Larry Rouse, Tony Moore, Will Dykes. Here's Austin throwing to Keevan Thompson, a little kind of fake jet sweep wheel. That's been a good play to us. Here's Austin from about 46, 48 yards out. Guy's got a little burst of speed. He's kind of slick the way he can kind of weave in traffic, and does a great job there to put us up after the extra point, 14-0. Again, defensively, I thought across the board, Robert Pigford played a really good game. Trey Williams kind of fighting through an injury. Played a good game. Hashim Michelle, Jeremiah Andrews doing a good job as always. Julius Reynolds in the middle. Here's kind of a little, direct snap to Keevan, a little toss sweep deal. I felt like we could create a little numbers advantage there, and ran toss sweep really well all night long, either through direct snap or just direct tossing it to him. Here's Austin coming out. He's going to hit Evan Allegre on a deep post. Evan's just become a great deep threat for us. He's got several long catches. Here's again a direct snap to Keevan. He's going to take it in. Patrick Morrison, Hunter Louthan, Sly Smith pulling. Those guys, Cooper Booth kind of out there on that left side, doing a great job. Coach Underwood does a great job with our special teams. Here's kind of the old rugby punt. It's become more and more popular. This is Hinton Carter, and it's a low one. So we were afraid it was going to hit one of our guys, but once it got rolling, you can see that thing's going to roll down, I think inside the 10-yard line to about the 6, and really create some favorable field position for us. Here's the favorable field position translated. We get the ball shifting to a little unusual formation, and we're able to get Hunter Louthan running down the middle of the field wide open from about 30, 35 yards out. Real proud of Hunter. He's a very selfless person. Doesn't get the ball thrown to him maybe as much as a lot of tight ends would like, and yet he's just worked hard all year long. Glad to see him get a touchdown and a couple catches the other night. Again, D-front, I think that was Jeremiah Andrews, outside linebacker, making that tackle. Gaddafi Turner was the corner. Over here we are on a little counter tray. Patrick Morrison in motion. Tristan Candair has been our H-back. You see the hard running by Kevin Thompson. Tristan Candair has done a great job of blocking for us. They got a score late in the half to make it 28-14, which kind of tightened things up a little bit more than we wanted. We were able to take the opening drive down the field and then had a penalty. It stopped us. They get the ball, start driving. Julius Reynolds makes a great snap interception here. Thought he was going to score, but got it down inside the 15. I think we go through a series here where we score on 3 straight plays. So we had 3 one-play possessions for touchdowns, and this is, I think, the first of those 3. Austin on a little bootleg, really tried to get the bootleg game going. Patrick Morrison, sophomore tight end, is going to take it in. I think that's his first touchdown of the year. So happy for Patrick, a guy who works hard and has some success there. A couple catches on Friday night. Defensively, again, great job. I think that's Gene Beckwith making that interception, and he's not going to go down and continues to move the pile. Gets us inside the 40. Defense and special teams did a great job of setting us up with great field position. Here's the second of the one-play drives. Again, you've seen that toss sweep before. There's Sly Smith out there, and Keevan's able to take it in. Keevan's just a few yards shy of 2,000 yards right now. And he's been, again, a great team player, and that we've gotten him out of games, several at the half. He could have been well over 2,000 yards, but we try not to play for statistics. And it gives us a chance, 1, to keep him fresh and healthy for this playoff run, and then 2, I think it gives us a chance to reward some younger guys with playing time and just give them a chance to develop and get used to high school football.
Okay. You mentioned the playoff run. You're in a unique situation. This is week 12.
Right.
That's a lot of football,
It
especially
is,
for a
without
lot
a
of kids.
doubt.
How do you pace a team, because
Yeah.
you got to win each week, but it's also a marathon to get there.
No kidding, and marathon's the right word. It is a physical and mental grind. Football's not a sprint. Football season is a marathon, and I think you have to do several things. 1, I think you need to be really good in the weight room so that your body can withstand just the physical wear and tear. And then I think the second thing is you got to be smart as coaches, and when you can get kids out of the game and keep their bodies rested, reward kids on the sideline with playing time, that's going to, I think, help you down the stretch. The third thing I think is you got to be smart about practice time. And you know, as coaches, we want to stay out there until we get it right, but some days you need to get off the field and get them home and let them do their homework and let them get rest. Our philosophy has been to try and make sure we're bringing a fresh horse to the race on Friday night, and I think we've managed it fairly well right now. It's a tough deal. You know, the basketball is being bounced right now, and the wrestling mats are full, and you know, some of those kids they're ready to move on to those other sports, and that's understandable. And yet we need them to stay with us and try and be fresh, and I think we're in a pretty good spot right now. We're probably as healthy as we could hope to be. It's a physical game, and there are going to be some injuries. And I think these guys have responded real well to our coaching, and I think we're as fresh as we can be, you know, this far into November.
Okay. Fayetteville Cape Fear comes in. You saw them last year in the playoffs.
We sure did.
Typical Fayetteville team?
Yeah, they are. I think when you talk Fayetteville football, historically, you're going to talk about a really physical team, a really athletic team with great speed. This is a Fayetteville team. They're 9-2, I believe, and it's a legitimate 9-2. They're 1 year better than last year's team. They've changed some things schematically, particularly on defense, that I think makes it more of a challenge for us. Offensively, they're very dynamic at quarterback. A lot of their team reminds us of Laney, quarterback and defensively, things that they do. So it's going to be a challenge for us. And again, once again, we can't have an off night. We've got to show up Friday night, play with a sense of urgency, start fast, hopefully finish strong, and see if we can live to play another week. So
it's this coming Friday night at Hoggard, 7:30 kickoff. The only playoff game in the area, in town. So support area high school football. Again, that's this Friday night at Hoggard. And we'll continue on right after this. Welcome back to the program. Our final segment is over with New Hanover. And Kevin, you go on the road at Rose. I mean, spectacular football game.
Yep. It was for anybody there. You know, my parents listened to it on the radio. My wife and 2 sons listened to it on the radio, and they seemed to enjoy it. It was pretty miserable from our end, back and forth. You know, you fighting it, but from a football fan, it was both teams fought their hearts out. It looked more like a 3rd, 4th round game than a first-round game, and that was the level of the two teams that were playing.
And we're going to take a look at some highlights. Interesting. Usually, if a kid beats you, he's at running back, he's at quarterback. That receiver's special.
He is. If I talked to him after the game, and I've been blessed. We've had a few at New Hanover, and when I was at Hoover and Alabama, we had some there as well. And I mean, he's got a chance to play on Sundays. He is an SEC type receiver, and I say that from coaching in Alabama that he's phenomenal. We double covered him all night, most every play. We had 3 guys on him. When his last offensive touchdown, his 6th one, we called a timeout on 3rd and 8, and we put 4 guys on him, and our 4 guys couldn't stop him. And he had a phenomenal night. It was one that he'll remember forever, and unfortunately we will too. So he had a great night.
A lot of highlights, though, for Wildcat fans, so let's take a look at the tape. We're heading to Greenville Rose, first-round playoff action.
Just, the cold night, and the biggest thing, there's Malachi, and just his 2nd game back, and you can see his explosion. And we lost him early in the year. That really hurt. And then just good to see him that he actually got to play in his last game instead of being on the sidelines. And Rashawn Johnson really stepped up and got a lot of carries and a lot of touches with the injuries, and then he gets hurt, and then he comes back and getting healthy. The thing I'll say is offensively, I think we had 590-some yards offense, and you lose. That's just, I haven't broke this film down normally. Sometimes at the end of the year, I never watch that last one. If I do, it's a little while before I do. We played 4 in the box all night long, trying to stop Powell, and our 3 defensive linemen and the guys we rotated in there, and then the 1 linebacker we played all night long, we rotated guys in there. They did a phenomenal job. We kept them from running the football. Unfortunately, we couldn't keep them from throwing it and getting him. Garrett Walston, just a phenomenal player and had a phenomenal junior year. Ward threw for just under 490 yards on the night, and seemed like we felt like we were going to win it when we got down there and was moving it down again, and the Powell kid intercepts and gets his 7th touchdown and takes it to the house. But he had that young man's a special player. We've got some special players right here. And I'll mention Ward Coleman finished his career with over 7,700 yards, and that's not just a New Hanover High School record, that's a New Hanover County record. He had 60 touchdowns, which is also a New Hanover County record. He did a great job all night long. They tried to mix and match. They ended up putting Powell on defense to stop Garrett and move him around to do some different things. Ward ran the ball, ended up running the ball probably more Friday night, and he has, I know, his sophomore and junior year combined. What they were trying to do in the box and try to lock us down, and they got the athletes to do it. Right here, Garrett Walston, we ran a couple trick plays. This one was successful. We had one right there when they were up by 1 touchdown, and ran that play again in a little different way, and it just went just out of the fingertips of Rashawn Johnson. We catch that one, and I feel like we win the ball game, but instead the very next play we got to go for it on 4th down, and Powell intercepts it, takes it to the house. But great group of kids. Jonathan Hardy's already committed and is going to be going to UNC Charlotte and getting a free education. Corinne Castillo, Hondo, our left tackle, is going to be getting a free education. He's got several offers. And now we've got some other seniors that have the grades and the talent, and we've got to finalize some decisions there and get them out of Wilmington and get an education.
Tell me about when you step back a couple days since you last played. What does this team, what do you remember about this group?
Well, this has just been such an insane year. And early in the year I didn't say anything about it, but then when we're sitting there 2-4 and everybody wants me fired and we're the dumbest people that's ever been on earth and really spitting on our kids while they were down, we had 23 kids go down with injuries, 23. And the thing is no matter what the community did, no matter what people kicking them, they band together, they rolled up their sleeves, and they came to work. And that's all life is. Life's going to knock you down. There's going to be things out of your control. Family members are going to pass away. People are going to get sick. Just like with my own 2 sons early in the year, my youngest son about died, and then I've had other things. And the life lessons that these kids get from that. Also, when Laney challenged us to the ALS challenge, Ice Bucket Challenge, I'm glad they did. I'd never heard of it. Our kids didn't want to dump ice. They wanted to find somebody in the community and honor them. And so we ended up honoring a coach from Ashley whose son played at Ashley. Just like they honored Ratliff, the quarterback at Scotland County. He had surgery and it went real well this past Friday. And that's a special group of kids. I don't know how many high school coaches talking about their kids that's what they wanted to do. You know, in our society today, it's all about me. You know, and our parents breed that into our kids. It's about your carries, your touches, you starting your stats. But this group of kids, no matter what, they just stuck together. And, you know, 7-5, we're not pleased with that record, but we are pleased with the decisions that these kids made throughout the year. And that, at the end of the day, as a teacher, that's what your job is, to prepare them for life. And I feel like they did that and we did that.
And you know, some years there might be more talented teams, but they don't reach their potential.
Oh, yeah.
This team, especially, you know, as you mentioned, from like week 5 on, got better every week.
That's right. Well, the hard thing to swallow was because of our non-conference schedule. We played the second hardest schedule in the state of all football, 1 through 4A. We had all those injuries, but we had the losses. And so we knew we were going to be on the road, and then we ended up getting a Greenville Rose team instead of, you know, you can kind of swallow that in the second round, just the way the cookie crumbled this year. But I don't think this team ever got to play at its best due to injuries and everything else. We were starting to head that way, getting guys back. But that's my regret, that I hate that people didn't get to see how good this team could have been if all pieces were in place.
Okay. Next step.
Yep.
You've got a number of kids coming back.
Yep. For us, Thursday, we've already set it up in the library. All our seniors that need to take the SAT again or an ACT, our juniors, they're going to sign up for the next 2. They need to get that taken care of so when the colleges come, they know. We'll get cranking full bore in the weight room Monday. Offensively, we've got a chance to be phenomenal with all the weapons and the guys that got to play a ton this year due to injuries.
Yeah.
Burke Estes is a phenomenal football player. I hate for him that he's a junior. And, you know, if he's a sophomore and people could watch him for the next 2 years, people got to see him earlier in the year, but he's a phenomenal player, a phenomenal young man. So, you know, at quarterback position, and what we do is very important. Defensively, linebackers should be good, DB's good. The question mark's going to be D-line, and our kids know that. And so we've got some guys that's in that mix that they're going to have to really step it up and grow a lot between now and August for us to be playing at the level we want to play at.
We appreciate your time again all this year.
Marty, thank you.
No, we appreciate you. And again, a reminder, 1 game in town this week. Hoggard, second round playoff game, 7:30 at the stadium. Get out there and support area high school football. And we'll have highlights from that one for you next week right here on Sports Roundtable. Good night, everybody.